Good day. My name is Leonardo DaVinci. I was born on April 15, 1452. My father, a rich Italian lawyer by the name of Piero DaVinci, never actually married my mother, Caterina, a poor peasant girl. So I only lived the first 2 years of my life with her. Then I moved in with my grandparents. There are very few details I remember from my childhood. But, oh, yes, right. There was a flood when I was 10 years old. Florence, where I lived with my grandparents, got flooded entirely. Luckily, no one was harmed. As I grew older, my grandparents discovered that I had a talent for drawing, and soon after they had me apprenticed to a man named Andrea del Verrocchio. Verrocchio was a great artist. After several years under his command, I moved out into the world and was employed by a man named Ludovico Sforza. There, working for him, one of my hardest projects was painting a life-size version of The Last Supper, which you'd think would be easy for my skill, but it had to be a fresco, which is a type of painting that is painted on wet plaster. So the artist must work very quickly before the plaster dries. Once the Duke died, I, being famous by now, was employed by a man named Cesare Borgia. Borgia was obsessed with weapons, but because I loved designing things, I worked for him anyway. To work for Borgia, I moved to Milan, where Borgia lived. In Milan, I adopted a boy named Giacomo, or as I like to call him, Sali. Sali in Italian means naughty child or devil. And I called him this because he used to always steal money from my friends and me and break things around the house. But I did love to spoil him with presents. And you're probably wondering if I did make all of those inventions you hear about. Well, it's true, but most of them I only made after retirement, other than all the weapons which I made for Borgia. I wasn't a big fan of those. But I did make the helicopter, the concept of contact lenses, I couldn't actually make the real thing, and a few other things. Those were a much bigger deal back then, because now you have your iPhones and iPod touches, all your music playing devices. We didn't even have electricity back then. I died on May 2nd, 1519. And I was buried in the Amboise Chapel in Italy.
Perfect, good job.
That was really interesting.
And Neal, what was the one thing that the reason you picked Leonardo, or the one thing that you learned that you thought was really interesting?
Well, I thought the fact that he called his son naughty child or devil was sort of funny. So that was a really interesting thing that I learned about.
All right, Gracie has a question for you.
Did you like that? Definitely.
Spoke through John.
I have two. One is Leonardo.
What did you say?
No.
Did he have a wife? Oh.
No. I just adopted.
How old? Do you know how old he was?
He was 67 years and 26 or 27 days, I think.
Ab, do you have a question?
I just have a comment. I think I heard somewhere that Leonardo da Vinci wrote his plans in a mirror, and so he wrote backwards cursive for his plans, so it's hard to read.
Yeah.
And anyone else? I thought I saw a hand. Will, was your hand up or your discussion?
No, I had a question, but
Well, Neal, you did a phenomenal job. Everyone, Grace.